these modern-day athletes the utmost test of stamina, strength, and endurance. ESPN, the total source for sports, presents the Subaru Cross Country Championships. Today's event, the men's 50-kilometer from Giants Ridge near Bowabic, Minnesota. This ESPN Sports exclusive brought to you by Subaru, the official sponsor of the U.S. ski team since 1976, and by Sue Bee Honey, and by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name. Hello again, everyone. I'm Peter Graves, and we're at the Subaru U.S. Cross Country Championships. Out of these competitions will come the U.S. ski team that will compete later this month at the World Nordic Championships in Lahti, Finland. Today, the grueling 50-kilometer event for men. A man who knows all about the sport of cross-country skiing, working with us as ESPN's expert on cross-country is Eric Evans. Eric, a great field for the men, but you've got a particular favorite.
A terrific field, Peter, but the favorite in my book is Audun Endestad. He's a former national champion at 50 kilometers. Last year, he heartbreakingly lost a spot on the Olympic team. He's come back very hungry and has been skiing well this week.
We also have a pair of other skiers on the U.S. ski team, including a homegrown Minnesota prospect that looks very good.
Todd Boonstra won the 30K earlier in the week. He just barely won the 15K a few days ago. He's going to be hot today.
All right, and we have a very difficult and challenging course for this 50-kilometer event. It could take its toll on the athletes.
Not only that, they've had 3 races in 6 days. That's going to take its toll today in this 50-kilometer event.
All right, we will see, and we'll return with the start of competition from Giants Ridge in just a moment. Stay with us.
36, he's the oldest competitor in this event.
Coaching at the University of Vermont ski team now. Next skier ready to go, number 44, is Greg Stone.
And the pressure's on Greg. He has to finish in the top 4 or 5 to make that team for the World Championships.
You know, Eric, Greg is somebody to watch for the future for the United States. We're very excited about him. Bruce Cramner out on the course now.
These skiers start individually every 30 seconds. We won't know who's leading until the later skiers pass by this point.
And Audun Endestad, number 48, the comeback kid. Earlier, I had the chance to talk to him about changes in his training.
Well, I've changed my training a bit. I'm working closer to John Estel in Alaska. We have a good program going up there. And I'm going to do a bit more speed work, try to get more rest in between workouts, and it seems to be working.
Audun Endestad, what a marvelous story. From Fairbanks, Alaska, he is the marathon man, used to be a Norwegian citizen. On the eve of the Sarajevo Olympics, he became an American citizen. Out on the course now, Joe Galanis and Todd Eastman setting a blistering pace on this downhill.
And those downhills are tough, Peter, on those skinny little skis.
Oh, and here is Kevin Brockman, number 54.
Peter, I asked him earlier what his strategy is going to be in today's event.
Well, with the late starting number, I can hold back a little bit early on in the race and get information and then kick hard at the end.
All right, out in the course right now, Audun Endestad, and he's setting a very good pace for himself, Eric.
And pacing is crucial. Remember, this 50-kilometer race is 6 miles longer than the 26-mile foot race.
And it's a long one. Audun Endestad, one of the favorites today. Another favorite is number 55, Josh Thompson.
Silver medalist 2 years ago in the World Biathlon Championships. Remember, that's skiing and shooting.
It's great to see Josh at these championships. He's got to be one of the guys to beat today. Audun Endestad out on the course now. This is a tricky turn. Let's see how he does. Seems to be holding up very, very well. And another favorite in competition ready to start is Todd Boonstra.
Boy, what a week. He's won the 30-kilometer, the 15-kilometer. But recall that these are classical races, and today it's freestyle.
Kevin Brockman, another Minnesota native, going around the corner. Remember, this is a very, very challenging course designed by former Dartmouth College ski coach Al Merrill.
Here's Audun Endestad coming back into the stadium, followed closely by Ed Lint of St. Lawrence University. In an event taking 2.5 hours, it's imperative that skiers drink replacement fluids early on.
Audun Endestad and Ed Lint, the newcomer and the veteran. And here is Greg Stone out on the course, number 44.
He has his fluid replacement bottle tied right around his waist.
We're seeing more and more of that as skiers are giving so much out in this challenging course. Great skiing conditions today.
Normally, it's very nippy here in Biwabik, but today's conditions in the mid-20s, perfect for racing.
John Underwood, former Dartmouth College skier and a great athlete from Alaska, followed by Kevin Brockman, both of them taking feeds in this feeding station in the 50-kilometer event. And out on the course is the marathon man, Audun Endestedt. He looks good, Eric.
And he's a three-time defending champion in this event. He knows this race.
You know, I get to travel with Audun to the Dolomiitenlauf, and he is some kind of distant skier. And here is Josh Thompson. Look how relaxed and graceful he is as he comes through the stadium.
Josh is more accustomed to having a rifle upon his back, Peter, but oh, he looks so smooth. He tucks his pole underneath his arm, grabs a drink. I don't know where he got those gloves. Very aerodynamic hat, yet very warm, too.
All right, Josh Thompson going out for his next lap. As Eric said, very relaxed and smooth. That's his hallmark. He is a graceful athlete. Out on the course right now, Kevin Brockman setting a blistering pace. Oftentimes that happens. It's a race within a race.
Number 54, Brockman, but look at the group behind him. Number 51, David Spidell, who won this race last year.
At Royal Gorge, California, under very different conditions. And out on the course now, Todd Boonstra, number 58. And he has just taken a drink. And Kevin Brockman still relentlessly pushing.
Pushing hard up these hills. It's a very demanding course.
And Joe Galanis going through the feeding station right now, followed by Audun Endestedt.
Now, Joe's tactic here will be to follow Audun. He knows Audun can drag him to a good race.
Josh Thompson heading into the stadium area with nearly 1/3 of the race completed.
Here's Kevin Brockman coming into the stadium. He's going to grab a drink. He's skiing alone. That might be a disadvantage later in the race.
Kevin Brockman, a very, very determined competitor. Greg Stone also skiing alone out on the course, but not these two.
Joe Galanis drafting right behind Audun, just like a bicycle racer, Peter.
They are skiing very well. 16.5 kilometers for Audun Endestedt has been completed so far. He's looking very good. And Todd Boonstra coming into the stadium.
And Booney with his Darth Vader glasses on, cut down on the glare. There's bright sunshine here today in Biwabik.
There's still more to come, but earlier in the week, we had some exciting moments of relay action. In Oslo, Norway, it's the Vigeland Night Relays. In Falun, Sweden, they race around horse tracks. Here at Giants Ridge at the Subaru U.S. Cross Country Championships, it's the American Airlines Sprint Relay. Eric, we've got a great event here. These guys are going to be really cooking.
And something very different, Peter. The normal men's shortest event is 30 minutes. This is going to be less than 3 minutes. It's going to be all out. Elbows flying, mass start, people in a heap at the end. It's going to be very exciting.
Now, in sports, this is totally anaerobic.
Anaerobic, they're going to be out of breath, without oxygen. They won't have any oxygen left at the end.
All right, it's going to be exciting, and the start is straight ahead.
Hand sign, are we ready to go? All right. On your mark. Get set. Go!
And with the starters call, they're underway, and it's a sea of color, these beautiful fluorescent uniforms in the American Airlines Sprint Relays.
And Joe Galanis looks like Carl Lewis coming down the track here. Look at that tempo, much greater than in the 50-kilometer.
It is unbelievable, and the pack is right behind him. They're really pushing and going down to Justin Wadsworth from Seattle, Washington. He is a brilliant athlete.
He's going to have to really move, Peter. Remember, this is a narrow trail, and he's going to have to pass 20 other athletes.
Well, it's going to be surprising if we see him pick up the pace now. Joe Galanis still leading the way as they go out of the forest, out of the Giants Ridge Stadium. The crowd loves it.
And back, Joey Galanis coming back into the stadium, out of the forest. He must want that ticket to Hawaii.
Right behind him is Ian White from Alaska. And I'll tell you, there are a lot of people putting the pressure on right now, but Joe Galanis is a master at this. He's got a great high tempo. He looks superb.
Very used to short distance races. He's used to collegiate racing, where they go for 15 kilometers. Here, just 1K, all out.
Ian White in second. Ed Lynn out of St. Lawrence University in third. And now the tag zone.
What a traffic jam. Skiers all over each other.
Reminds you of last summer in Seoul. And here are some tags still going on. A great race today, the American Airlines Sprint Relay, the final lap of competition underway.
And I'm amazed they can even find their teammates in this melee out there.
All right, there is Luke Bodensteiner in the blue, one of our top juniors, and the tag from Justin Wadsworth to Josh Thompson. So there they go right now. It is but 1 kilometer before we have a victor crowned, and out of the forest they come. Still leading the way is Todd Boonstra, going to school at the University of Vermont. He's from Eagan, Minnesota. He's skiing brilliantly.
And right behind him, Peter, Tim Miller from Alaska, stalking him, watching his every move. Remember, we have about 300 yards to go.
Boonstra skiing very well, and I'll tell you, this is reminiscent of the epic battle in the 1982 World Nordic Championships between Oddvar Bro of Norway and Alexander Savilov of the Soviet Union. We've got a real horse race.
As they round the last corner, just a couple hundred yards to go. Oh, it looks like Booney slipped a little bit. Miller has the momentum coming into the corner.
But Boonstra is putting the hammer down. He is really putting it down. The tempo for the entire group has increased, but it looks like Boonstra may have it, Eric.
He's the 15-kilometer champion. No, it's Tim Miller coming out of the blue on the left side.
Miller coming out. Holy cow, off the outside. Tim Miller blows Boonstra off in the last moment. It was a great race. The American Airlines Sprint Relays, a brilliant job for Ian White and Tim Miller, winning it for Alaska. The comeback kid, Audun Endested, leading this 50-kilometer race right now. We're at the 16.5-kilometer mark. He looks fast, and he is. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Minnesota's Iron Range, Peter Graves along with Eric Evans. We're at the Subaru U.S. Cross Country Championships.
And quite a surprise developing here, Peter. Josh Thompson, the silver medalist in biathlon, leading this year's National 50-kilometer championship.
Behind him, Kevin Brockman right now. Thompson really pulling it in and is skiing a great race. Out on the course right now is Bruce Cramner coming through the stadium area in that brilliantly fluorescent suit.
Well, that's the only thing that's shining brightly for him right now. He's floundering a bit. He's a former national champion in this event. He's not doing well today.
And out on the course, here comes Dave Speidel, the current national champion.
Well, frankly, Peter, I think David's victory last year was a bit of a fluke. It was done at altitude. This year, it's at sea level.
Under the International Bridge here at Giants Ridge they go, Dave Speidel. And into the stadium area right now. This magnificent stadium that has hosted a pair of World Cup events now hosts our national championships.
Audun Endested getting a drink. This is just about the only flat part of this course. When he heads out of the stadium, it's all uphill.
And out in the forest right now at the 18-kilometer mark is Todd Boonstra.
And remember, he's already won the 30 and the 15. I'm surprised he has the motivation to keep going today.
Todd Boonstra under the bridge. And now to a big battle that we have going on. Josh Thompson passing Kevin Brockman. Josh Thompson is our leader at this point, and what a great race, Eric. He's skiing today, always under control.
He looks so slow, yet he moves so quickly. And Kevin's job now will be to stay right with him for as long as he can.
He's got to hang on. You know, now we take a look at the next tricky spot in this course. It's a long downhill, Eric.
Well, most people think of cross country as uphill hard work, but usually 1/3 of every course is fast downhill skiing, often in the tuck position.
And Bruce Cramner going by here is Todd Boonstra, number 58 right now, setting a very good pace in this race. And another downhill section, it is Joe Galanis. He is followed by Greg Stone.
But notice that he's not with Audun anymore. That means trouble for Joe.
Audun Endested, he's right here and skiing very well. He is solidly running in second place. Look at those long pole plants, the glide. He is brilliant.
And just a few minutes behind him is Josh Thompson, here in the tuck position, gaining every second on the downhill, just like Bill Johnson would do in a downhill race.
He continually looks so relaxed out there.
There's Greg Stone working hard, using the marathon skate as Kevin Brockman comes around the corner, looks up, and starts double poling.
Josh Thompson again coming on the downhill. He is again relaxed, smooth, carrying the speed very well.
He'll need to be relaxed to save energy for that last 10 kilometers.
Into the stadium area now comes Audun Endested. He is running in second place in this race, looking great.
I don't know if Audun is playing possum or what. He's behind, but that may be part of his plan.
He has got a lot of savvy and a lot of experience in these long-distance events. Kevin Brockman running in third place right now at the 31-kilometer mark, stretching his upper back and really looking quite good.
Here's our leader, Josh Thompson. I'm a little concerned. He may be like Icarus, flying too high. He could get burned in that last little bit of the race.
Dave Speidel now the defending national champion in this 50-kilometer event. It looks like it's not going to be his day.
Booney coming up behind him. David's resting, Booney's working. That may be the difference in their times.
And there's a case study in two different types of technique right there. Seamus Daly, one of the coaches, giving a feed to Kevin Brockman out in the course right now. Brockman, 1 lap to go in competition.
1 lap and maybe a spot on the U.S. team.
I'm on the cross-country ski trails of Giants Ridge during the Subaru U.S. Cross Country Championships, and this is our American Airlines ski tip. You know, cross-country skiing is becoming one of the world's fastest-growing winter sports. And whether you're out in long-distance racing or ski touring with a family, there's a lot we can learn from elite athletes to integrate into your cross-country experience. With me now is Leslie Thompson, a member of our 1988 U.S. Olympic team in Calgary and a member of our current U.S. ski team. Leslie, there is a lot we can learn from you racers about cross-country skiing. One thing you have, you're wearing it right on your back right now. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, Peter. When I'm out either for a long workout or even in some of the longer races, I'll bring along a pack like this. And in here, I bring water or a fluid replacement drink. And that's great to keep you going when you start getting tired and thirsty.
Okay.
Have a little sip of that. And in here, I'll bring along some extra wax if I'm classical skiing. If my skis start to slip, put a little more wax on, that helps a little bit. And also, a dry hat. You know, you start to sweat a little bit, get a little wet. It's a good idea to change your hat. That'll help keep you warm and keep you going for the longer time. Another good idea is if you're out for a really long time, you might want to bring along a candy bar or a little snack to keep you going. Another new thing we have these days, Peter, are goggles for cross-country skiing. They've been around in alpine skiing for a long time, but we've just started using them in the last few years. And they really help enhance the light when it's flat light, and they also keep the snow out of your eyes. So goggles are a good idea when you're out Nordic skiing.
Well, Leslie Thompson, thanks for sharing this information. Have a great season with the U.S. ski team. An upset in the making? Does Josh Thompson have enough to hold on? The conclusion of the men's 50-kilometer event from Minnesota when we return. Stay with us. And Subaru U.S. Cross Country Championships. Peter Graves along with Eric Evans. Here is Josh Thompson, and now coming up, Joe Galanis.
And he looks like the race's first casualty, moving very slowly. It's as if he's thrown the anchor out.
It has been a long and demanding week of competition here on Minnesota's Iron Range.
Josh Thompson still holding on, but Audun Enderstad is gaining with every stride. Look at the muscles in those legs. He's a former weightlifter. He's still got that spry spring in his step. Surprising this late in the race.
I've watched him at a lot of long-distance races. He has every trick in the book. He's skied the Dolomittenlauf, the Marcia Longa, all the great long-distance races. He's looking great.
Well, it's an old adage in the 50-kilometer. The race doesn't begin until the 40K mark. Kevin Brockman not looking strong now.
And out in the forest is coming Greg Stone at the 48-kilometer mark now. He's had a very good race for this newcomer. I think we can look to great things from him.
Well, 2 kilometers to go. He's really shooting for a space on that team.
Greg Stone looking good, and like Enderstad, a little bit of spring left in those legs late in the going of this race.
He's been racing almost 2 hours and 40 minutes. And here comes Todd Boonstra. He's moving up. He's well into 3rd place.
Boonstra looking very good, still focused. He's got a lot of concentration. And there from our aerial camera, Josh Thompson running in 2nd place, now on the ground.
Peter, look at this. His muscles, his body has run out of glycogen. No more groceries left.
Josh Thompson, still a great athlete. He is so smooth, so relaxed, really looking very good. All right, another shot of Thompson now, holding it together well in this long and gradual downhill section of the course.
Here's where he catches his breath, regroups, gets set psychologically.
Brockman on the downhill. Less than 2 kilometers to go to the finish. Kevin Brockman still pouring it on, but he is tired.
But note the difference here between Kevin and Audun a little bit earlier. Audun still with the spring, Kevin a little bit slower. He is beat. Look at his hair matted against his forehead. Oh, double poles, rests on his knees. He is whipped. This course has taken its toll.
Kevin Brockman going to the finish, less than 2K to go. Now we take a look in the stadium area, and coming in is Bruce Cramner.
32 miles, 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's all taken its toll. He's got 100 yards to go. He knows he's not going to make the U.S. team. He knows he's not going to win this race, but he's still digging hard.
Bruce Cramner giving it all he's got to the finish line. You really got to hand it to this guy. It's been a great race for him. And across the finish line with a time of 2:34.38.
And Peter, back out on the course, heading into the final kilometers, is Todd Boonstra. His coaches have told him that he's right in the race and that Josh Thompson is fading.
Boonstra's given it everything he's got. A great week for him. What a marvelous athlete.
4 races in 6 days as Audun Enderstad comes into the finish. He has looked superb this last 10Ks. His hair flying, that's an indication of how fast he's going as he approaches the last 200 meters.
What a great week for Audun Enderstad, getting some last-minute split information from John Estel, his coach. I'll tell you, Enderstad has been hotter than a quart of jalapeno sauce this week. He's had a great racing series, and look at him go.
And Peter, look behind him. That looks like Robert Douglas from Lake Placid, New York. It must be a wig. where he has the worst hairdresser I've ever seen.
Endestead with less than 200 meters to go to the finish line. He is really bearing down. This guy is big, strong, cheerful, one of the great athletes on the scene, and this is a fitting way to end it all this week.
And quite a confidence booster for him as he enters the World Championships later this month in Lahti.
Endestead giving it all he's got across the finish line, and the time, 2:25:45 in the marathon of this winter game.
An excellent time, but we'll have to wait till Thompson finishes and Todd Boonstra here to see if it's a winning time.
Booney getting some split information from Coach Sverry Caldwell, really concentrating. I spent a lot of time with Todd Boonstra. He is a very focused athlete.
26 years old, the coaches have high expectations for him later this month.
And skiing towards a berth on that World Championship team to Lahti, Finland, Greg Stone giving it everything he's got.
Oh, and Peter, look at the stagger. That's an indication of just how tired Greg is at this point.
Well, you know they are. After 50 kilometers, the marathon of winter sports, Greg Stone across the finish line, and his time, 2:31:12.
But here's the race. Josh Thompson entering the stadium. Oh, he looks tired. A little bit slow motion here, lactic acid racking his body. Here's the final 100 yards. He knows the time that Audun has posted. Can he beat it?
Josh Thompson to the finish line. Right behind him, the current coach at Marquette at Northern Michigan University, Sten Feldheim. Thompson's pouring it on.
And they both pick it up, Peter, as they approach the last 10 meters.
Oh, a great race in tandem across the line. Thompson, 2:27:19.
And it's not enough. He's second place behind Audun as Kevin Brockman enters the stadium, a spot on the U.S. team on the line.
Brockman going to the finish line right now, trying to get a spot on that World Championship team that'll go to Lahti, Finland in February.
He's got to be in the top 5. Here's his chance.
Brockman really looks tired, Eric.
These have got to be the longest 30 meters that Kevin Brockman has ever skied.
Brockman working his way across the finish line and breaking the beam of the electronic timing, 2:29:18 for Kevin Brockman.
Meanwhile, Todd Boonstra, the star of this week, coming into the stadium. He knows he has a good time. He knows he's gaining on the leaders. Can he catch Josh Thompson's time?
Yes, oh, what a week it was. And here comes the hard-charging Todd Boonstra across the finish line like a winter thoroughbred. He heads for the barn. Boonstra is charging, and he's across the line, 2:28:24.2. Let's go to the leaderboard right now because it bespeaks of a great performance for Audun Endestead in the final results of the men's 50K. Of course, Audun coming in first, followed by Josh Thompson of Gunnison, Colorado in second, Todd Boonstra of Burlington, Vermont third, Kevin Brockman, Stillwater, Minnesota in fourth, rounding out the top 5 out of Ketchum, Idaho, Greg Stone. That will be our World Championship team going to Lahti, Finland later this month. Now don't go away. Some final words from Minnesota in just a moment. With great skiing conditions, we have had a brilliant national championships at Giants Ridge. Eric Evans, the next step in all this, now with the U.S. team chosen, is for our team to hop on a plane and head to Lahti, Finland for the World Nordic Championships in February. How do you think our team could do over there?
Well, based on what we've seen today, Peter, I see the U.S. team having some strong top 15 finishes, which would be very good at Lahti.
And to take it the next step, what can we do to get into the medal round?
Well, more great races like this, more skiers attracted to the sport. We're on the right track. It'll take a few years, but I'm very hopeful, particularly with the Olympics coming up.
All right, we've had a great championship here. For Eric Evans, I'm Peter Graves saying so long, everybody, from Minnesota's Iron Range. This ESPN Sports exclusive brought to you by Subaru, official sponsor of the U.S. ski team since 1976, and by Subi Honey. And by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name. Promotional consideration to American Airlines. American Airlines, something special in the air.